There is a story in the rolling hills south of Birmingham, Alabama. A transformative yet contentious project is poised to reshape the landscape of the small city of Bessemer. Project Marvel, a $14 billion data center initiative envisioned to span 700 acres and 19 massive cathedrals of computing, or for our more commercially minded listener, the equivalent footprint to 18 super Walmarts. This would become one of the largest hyperscale facilities in the world, set against a backdrop of rural timberland and proximity to the urban pulse of Jefferson County. The project promises economic revitalization and has sparked fierce opposition over environmental risks, secrecy, and infrastructure hurdles to central Alabama. As the Bessemer City Council prepares for a pivotal vote scheduled for the 18th of November to begin the project with the rezoning of 100 acres of forested land from agricultural to the new light industrial use. Project Marvel stands at a crossroads, embodying the high stakes tensions between technology, ambition, and community stewardship. The genesis of Project Marvel traces back to early 2025, when developers quietly approached Bessemer officials with a vision for a cutting edge data center hub led by Logistic Land Investment LLC, a subsidiary of the Atlanta based TPA Group. The project targets a site off Rock Mountain Lake Road, nestled in an area that currently hosts local wildlife, small fish, many streams, deer, and hawk populations. TPA Group, which previously pursued a similar venture in Venus, Texas, positions Bessemer as an ideal location due to its access to Birmingham's growing tech ecosystem, spacious, affordable lands, and a robust utility infrastructure. Alabama could emerge as a data center hotspot, with facilities from giants like Google and Meta already beginning to dot the state. Massive investment from these mega corporations, drawn by friendly local leaders with open palms, state tax incentives, low energy costs, and blue screen distracted citizens. Project Marvel amplifies this trend, proposing a phased construction that could be scheduled to unfold over decades, transforming verdant acreage into a fortress of servers humming with artificial intelligence workloads, cloud storage, and big data processing. At its core, the project allure lies in its economic potency. Proponents, including Bessemer city leaders, hail it as a major opportunity for job creation and tax revenue in a city long plagued by industrial decline. Once a steel town, Bessemer today faces unemployment rates hovering above the national average and an aging, shrinking tax base. The data center could inject thousands of construction jobs during its build out, followed by hundreds of permanent roles in operations, maintenance, cybersecurity, promises of pay above local median wages today, direct employment. Ripple effects could be substantial. Suppliers for cooling systems, the installation of fiber optic cabling, physical cybersecurity would flock to the area, boosting ancillary industries. Tax abatements under Alabama's economic development laws could yield millions in annual revenue once operational, funding schools, roads, public services currently strained by the population shifts. City officials have reaffirmed their full support, viewing it as a lifeline akin to what the Mercedes-Benz plant did down the highway for Tuscaloosa nearly 2 decades ago. In a region where the Black Belt's poverty rate exceeds 25%, such investment could stem outmigration and foster hope, particularly if targeted training programs could upskill local workers for high-tech roles. And yet these promises come with caveats. Data centers often prioritize skilled labor from afar, and the project's end user, rumored to be a tech behemoth, remains shrouded behind non-disclosure agreements. Only guesses, limited precise projections, questions of where the money really is coming from. As such, Project Marvel has ignited a firestorm of resistance, rooted in profound environmental and local quality of life concerns. The future's 700 acres of timberland, teeming currently with biodiversity, would need to be clear cut for construction, rezoning an initial 100-acre swath and fragmenting habitats essential for the local wildlife. Data centers are notoriously resource intensive. A single facility can guzzle up to 1 million gallons of water daily for cooling those hot computers. This would strain Bessemer's and indeed all of central Alabama's aquifers amid the reoccurring droughts exasperated by long southern summers. Diesel generators necessary for backup power pose air pollution risks. We can't have the data center running hot if the local power fails. Already burdened by industrial legacies still remembered by the aged population, the emissions of nitric oxide would contribute to respiratory issues for the entire community. Noise from the constant cooling fans and traffic from supply trucks will erode the rural tranquility, while thermal discharges into nearby streams threaten the aquatic ecosystems. Foremost among these perils would be the Birmingham darter, a rare fish species recently identified in Little Blue Creek downstream of the proposed 100-acre site. Yale biologist Thomas Neer's research warns that construction-induced turbidity, heat pollution, and aquifer dewatering could push this imperiled fish and regulated endangered species like the watercress darter closer towards extinction. On November 13th, 2025, the Center for Biological Diversity petitioned the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for Endangered Species Act protections. They're looking for the mandated 90-day review that could halt progress to the buildings. Residents rallying at the Legacy YMCA in town decried the threats with signs proclaiming "No data center in our backyard" and chants echoing tears of a water vampire threatening to devour communal resources. Compounding these ecological alarms is the veil of secrecy that has eroded public trust. From the outset, Project Marvel has been cloaked in non-disclosure agreements, with Bessemer's mayor and city attorney confirming they've already signed documents to shield the negotiations. These pacts, justified as standard business for luring these necessary hyperscalers like Amazon, Meta, Google, they bar the disclosure of financial details, they hide environmental assessments, and they suppress knowledge of even the client's identity. When local press sought records this past October, the city invoked exemptions for trade secrets and attorney-client privilege, denying access to local knowledge of over 18 months of emails, memorandums, and studies. Public meetings, capped at 60 attendees with no live streams, have been marred by heightened security, metal detectors, and police scanners, perceived by some as intimidation. A lawsuit filed by nearby residents alleges improper notification from the March planning hearing, claiming the city posted erroneous dates and failed to alert the stakeholders who all would live within 500 feet of this first clearing. The NAACP's September letter amplified these grievances, a national organization paying attention to our little Bessemer. Yes, the linking of secrecy to broader inequalities, and they are urging the rejection in favor of more sustainable investments, or maybe just more profitable ones. Infrastructure woes complicate the narrative. The Alabama Department of Transportation has issued a stark warning from the first week of November, notifying developers that the site's layout clashes with their long planned Northern Beltline, a 52-mile highway envisioned since the 1990s to encircle the whole of Birmingham. Director John Cooper acknowledged the data center's economic upside, but he needs design tweaks to accommodate the Beltway's alignments and the I-459 interchange, lest it derail his $2.5 billion road project. The Beltline itself is mired in controversy, often criticized as a road to nowhere that would scar the forest, cross out waterways, imperil water quality in a land already parched. Ironies when you consider they mirror many of the claims of Project Marvel's own footprint. These entanglements threaten to delay construction by years, inflating costs all the more and testing the patience of investors who may be paid to move on. As the City Council vote looms, Project Marvel encapsulates Americans' ambivalent dance with big tech. On one hand, it offers a bulwark against economic stagnation, potentially elevating Bessemer into the digital age with jobs and revenue streams vital for the future in a majority black city. On the other, it risks amplifying vulnerabilities, water scarcity, wilderness clear cut, biodiversity lost, and democratic promises of self government eroded through backroom secrecy that disproportionately burdens those frontline communities. The Birmingham darter's plight symbolizes this fragile state. It's a tiny fish in a clear creek, emblematic of ecosystems upended by unchecked growth. If approved, modifications for the Beltline and species protections might mitigate some harms, but only rigorous transparency and community veto power can ensure benefits stay local. Rejection, conversely, could deter future investments, leaving Bessemer to ponder sustainable paths while other investors move on. Ultimately, Project Marvel transcends bricks and servers. It's a referendum on progress. In an era where data centers prophesy AI's promise, yet guzzle resources like voracious beasts, Bessemer's choice will ripple across Alabama and the American Southeast. Will the city embrace the genius of modernity as projected by the powerful, or safeguard the marvels of nature and the accountability of local government? Are these secrets whispered between the pines and the creek? Are there murmurs of a small Alabamian city deciding whether to trade its soul for a server farm? I hope you enjoyed today's brief and that it sparks deeper conversations beyond these airwaves. If you'd like to support this caffeine-fueled creative process, feel free to buy me a cup of coffee or donate to the channel. Links are below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share as we build this Alabama community. I look forward to our next chat once we turn the next page.